one of the things that, I wanted to optimize in the mastermind, is the way we teach, right? And sometimes it is harder up front, but I call it the law of discovery. And that is what the mastermind is built on. Of course, it's built on Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, but it's also built upon the law of discovery. And it's called discovery learning. But to me, traders, that's the most beneficial way to learn, because, you can't tell a person upfront in a book or on a YouTube video what's everything is going to happen in the market. Like, nobody can forecast, a tweet coming out at 6:55 on a Friday night, right? And so what the law of discovery says is that, normally people go to a seminar and they go to a workshop, they go to a class, and we're being bombarded by so many advertisements, so many people want our attention, that a lot of times we only retain 10% of the information. Our hands, our fingertips, our nose, our ears, all of our sensories are working all the time. And it gets to a point where we start blocking out things. So many things are happening that we're blocking things out. And so you go to a seminar, or you go to a class, or you sit through a YouTube, you got multiple things going on, right? And so you're only going to retain 10% of the information. When it comes to discovery learning, it is you retain 90% of the things you uncover yourself. You retain 90% of the things that you have to do. So some people, they want to sit in a class and they want to be taught, and they want to go through a book, and they want to go through watch a video, right? When I was in the Marines, there was no substitute on throwing a grenade or shooting from 500 yards. We actually had to shoot, and we actually had to hit a target. And that's what made us qualified. And so in trading, taking a trade, actually showing it, hey, here's how this is what I experienced while I was in a trade. Here's how I set up my wallet, actually doing things, you retain 90%. There's signals everywhere. You can go to 1,000 different groups, right? But in the law of discovery, it's saying that you're going to learn and retain 90% of what you're doing. And so I like to say that inside the mastermind, we learn a lot more because everybody's expected to do. And that is the purpose of the 7-day challenge, was to get guys into the steps of, hey, get the wallet, go to Coinbase or go to exchange, buy crypto, start to uncover what you don't know as soon as possible. Right. And then even in a virtual world, no, let's take a trade. In this way, we're taking trades within 7 days, even if it's in virtual, it is the act of doing it. And so, there's a couple of studies. I always like to bring the studies out because I like to add stack. There was a Meyer study in 2004, and it says that, discovery learning, right, is when learners are given specific guidelines or cues to help them focus their exploration, it was more beneficial. It's more effective when someone gives you a outline and say, hey, here's the steps that we need to take. Now go do them. It's called guided learning, right? And that guided learning becomes a point where you're actually doing more faster, and you're uncovering. It's okay to fail. You want to fail fast because you grow from that, and you retain 90% of your failures. If I walked in the room and somebody slapped the shit out of me, right? When I go in that room the next time, I would have my antennas up. You probably wouldn't do it 3 or 4 times the same, right? And this is, they had a study called Talent Reynolds in 2006, and it says that, discovery learning, right, is more effective in promoting critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Part of our goal is to be independent and free. Well, if we're going to be independent and free, we're going to have problems that come, and we need to have, critical thinking and problem-solving skills when it comes to the market. And you're not going to be able to have someone tell you in the heat of the moment, should you exit or not? Not on every aspect, and especially being independent. So we want to promote independence and freedom. We also got to promote critical thinking and problem solving. Right? We need these skills to be traders. Right? And it's Nelson and Nairns in 1990 had another study, and it said that learning can be particularly effective for students who are motivated to learn and have a high level of self-regulation. So you can't really teach a person who's not motivated to actually learn, right? A lot of guys get into trading, they just want the money, but they're not really motivated to learn. They don't really want to know, how this works. They just want to be fed. And so the mastermind is really good, for people that really want to learn and the self-motivated that gets themselves up, right? And all they need is guidance, right? Need to be pointed in the right directions, and we're going to figure it out because we have those problem-solving skills, right? And so, for us, it is quality information. We don't want to sacrifice, quality. This price law. I'm gonna share an article with you guys. It's called Price Law, and it's basically, I talked about working together as a team. What kills your company, and what kills the team environment. And in a group environment, you could have people dragging you down. But it also talks about price law, where it says that, 10 to 20% of the people in a company does 80% of the work. And you don't want to depend on the 10 to 20%. If they leave, it's detrimental to the company. And so in the mastermind, it is important for me to say, hey, I want 80% of the people that are super valuable, that understands that they don't want to be carried by the 10%. And so this is one of the reasons I encourage guys to challenge me, or, to say, hey, I think this is wrong and this is better. Because in most companies, they're successful off of 10 or 20% of the people. You guys know, if you're in a company and there's a team of 10, there's going to be 4 that's really driving that, right? And the other 6 maybe just be trying to get by. They'll slide through. They're on a team. And, it says I'll share it. It says in any area of science or enterprise, half of the total contribution is made by the square root of the total number of participants. And it's just saying that, there's a small amount of the participants that are carrying their team. And for me, an entrepreneur operating system, I don't want to be the one person carrying the entire mastermind. There should be 80% of the guys contributing, sharing, right? And that's why it's a mastermind. It's not a course. You go to a course, you learn from one person. In a mastermind, each person does, because he's always evolving. Trading is evolving. The markets are evolving. And so, we can guide each other, but we also have to understand our genius.